Nigerian Institute of International Affairs held a roundtable conference on maritime domain awareness for Africa's maritime security on Monday at Lagos NIIE Conference Chambers. Prince Adewale Adebayo was the chairman of the event, while Rear Admiral Francis Akpan was the guest speaker, with numerous special guests of honor in attendance. Maritime domain awareness is known as the effective understanding of anything associated with the maritime domain that could impact the security, safety, economy, or environment. However, the mission and objective of maritime domain awareness are to collect the maximum information and intelligence about any ship or vessel in the country's waters.
Anywhere east of Porto Novo and west of Rio de Janeiro is where Nigeria needs to project its superpower potentials. We may not have a sea or a whole ocean named after us like India that has an Indian Ocean, but we are a very notable maritime power. And the amount of effort and investment, especially intellectual input, that we frame for ourselves to be able to be strong at sea will determine whether we will actually be regarded as a power.
The chairman of the event, Prince Adewale Adebayo, in his welcome speech spoke on Nigeria's maritime power and the amount of effort on investment, especially intellectual input, to be strong at sea, and the safety of people and goods in the country. He also spoke about the importance of the sea and many more in this report.
Another thing that's also important is the fact that the sea is good for projection. You can project all your power, all your potentials at sea. And you also use the sea for recreation and for research and development, for oceanography study. So I think that we should pay attention. We are people who has pleased God Almighty to put near the most important junction in the sea.
Furthermore, Prince Adewale Adebayo also emphasizes the government policy on coordinating the Nigeria Security Agency, adding that the community plays a key role in supporting the law enforcement agency.
There is always this territorial fight. I believe that you consider how fantastically nice the DG has been to us. But if you try to amend the law to take some of the duties and give to the Navy, you will see that it's a serious fight. So those are the things which leadership has to provide to show that, well, you may lose it here, but it will redound on you positively elsewhere. And you will see that the coordinator of our security is the NSA. Even the NSA, this administration had to fight for his own life because everybody is competing with everybody. So to have that coordination is what we will assist the incoming government to do. So that from that center, if it's well harmonized and the personal interest, career interest, procurement interest, all of those things are well managed, we will do better than we are doing. Lastly, the community has a role to play. Anything that has to do with security has to do with the community. So if the communities have a better sense of equity and will cooperate with the law enforcement agencies, cooperate with the government, we will achieve a lot and benefits will come to everybody, not only those in uniform, but those in government.
Rear Admiral Francis Akpan gave a brief lecture on maritime domain awareness, and he also spoke on security threats, challenges, and risks associated with the maritime domain. Meanwhile, Prince Adewale Adebayo also spoke on the essence and security attached to the maritime domain.
Peculiar security challenges that we have, it all are ramified everywhere, north, south, east, and west. Somebody was talking about the immigration in Mediterranean. The Mediterranean Sea is aptly protected. You know that. I mean, every inch of that sea by France, Italy, and the rest. But we still have the problems of immigration undoing. The second problem we have is the care for the demographics around our littorals. Those who harbor 1 kilometer along the coast. Because of the environmental degradation, they've lost their primary source of livelihood. They can't farm, they can't fish. And these are, because of what the area have constituted to, is becoming a kind of slum for breeding criminals.
What this conference and this event is about is to examine policies and ways by which we can govern our water territories. That's the whole idea of it. Also in terms of security, to see that other nations are not taking our territory. You remember our situation in Bakassi. It was fighting over maritime boundaries and all of that. So those are the things we are trying to do. And the idea is that as we are migrating from oil, we will be able to make a lot of money from our water.
In conclusion, maritime domain awareness aims to detect threats and come up with resolutions to this, helping with decision-making for different threats and inspecting that international laws are kept to ensure freedom of navigation.